camera.
He's 30 minutes early.
But I like your shirt.
Yeah, great stuff.
Yeah, had to show up. Sorry for that. I got a new laptop over the weekend, so I had to set everything up on that. So it was trying to do its own thing. But how is everybody?
Great.
I hope we're not recording yet.
You're recording, but
No, you're not.
yeah, we are.
Oh,
We
cool.
are.
She'll
All right.
edit it. It's fine.
Start it up.
You started up.
We're a little time pressed, Terrance.
Absolutely, no problem.
She's got 3 other jobs.
Okay, so if we're time pressed, let's say, "What's up, Big Bob?"
We'll start again. Let's this a little bit. Would you please stop acting out?
Okay, I will.
Be mature.
Okay,
My God.
what's up?
Well, you know, I'm family. I'm not company, so you can act out if you want to.
What's up, Big Bob?
What's up, Ann? How you doing?
It's great. It's a great Monday, and we've got a great interview with Terrance Leftridge.
Well, you forgot our tradition.
Well, that's your part, not mine.
Our tradition is before we start any show, we give a shout out to Brenda Ringwood, who is our executive producer and the founder of Becoming the Better You.
That's right. Absolutely.
Right. So Becoming the Better You. What is that not the logo of Becoming a Better You on your shirt?
Yes, that's exactly what it is. Right
Look
there.
at you.
Becoming
Dressed
the better
dressed.
you.
What is
You gotta show up.
what is becoming a better you to you?
Well, you know what? First and foremost, thank you so much, Big Bob and Ann, for letting me be on your show.
You might want to say that until the show's over. It might not go so well for you.
I have no doubts that it's going to be fantastic. You guys are unstoppable. But listen, you asked me, what is becoming the better you? Becoming the better you is each and every one of us working together individually and collaboratively to help each and every one of us become the best version of ourselves each and every day. Because if I help you become a better version of you, Big Bob, and you help Ann become a better version of herself, then by default, I'm becoming a better version of myself because I've given of myself in one of those key pillars that we talk about, which is service.
You know, I can't tell you that is what has drawn me into BTBY is that concept.
Yes.
And I wrote something about 2 weeks ago that I'll share with you is service is the gift I give myself to honor my blessings. Or you could say service is the gift you give yourself to honor your blessings. And
absolutely.
It's more about being in a position. You don't have to have a lot of money or be old. Just have the heart, compassion to give more than you take.
Absolutely. And you know, Big Bob, someone really way smarter than me said that service is the rent that you pay for being able to walk this earth. And, you know, it's such a blessing, as you said, to be able to walk this earth, to breathe this air, to do the things that we get to do. And giving back, giving a little bit of myself is just like paying rent each month. You know, I get this great place. I've got to pay for the privilege to continue to be in this great place.
So you have your own podcast, don't you?
Absolutely.
What is your podcast?
So my podcast is called The Unstoppable Story Show, where we talk to ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, living their life on the next level. So we reach out to them, let them tell their story of where they are right now, and more importantly, where they came from. Because, you know, Big Bob, people love to see your glory, but rarely do they want to hear your story. And when they hear your story of how you got to where you are right now, then they recognize that just like me and you, we put our pants leg on one leg at a time. And if we don't stop, then maybe someone who's watching us will have some ideal that they don't have to stop either.
So what's your story? I've heard Brenda and Big Bob raving about you. What's your story?
I feel like we are still, you're so stunned by that that we have to keep going. Mic check, mic check. Can you guys hear us?
Yes, but your mouth is not, your lips aren't moving, but we can hear you. I think the Your
Internet
part is
connect-
on freeze, but we can hear what you're
We
saying.
can hear you. I think we lost him.
Maybe. You think we got that lucky?
I shouldn't have asked
Boy, it
the
was
question.
so easy. It was a tough question. Now he has to dodge
Oh
it.
no, he's rendered
Is
speechless.
he coming back?
No.
Listen?
He's not there. Bye. Don't go away. We're going to try to
He'll
rehook
log
you.
back in. Just leave it. He's froze. We'll just keep editing. I'll edit when we get there.
No, don't edit this part. Silence is golden.
Okay.
Dead air.
No, I'm teasing. You got to fix it.
He has the controls on back end. He can come back in.
He has the controls. Maybe he turned us
There,
off.
wait.
Nope.
He
Did you?
just signed off. Maybe he's
He'll
coming
come
back,
back in.
on.
Because if I click it, we got to stay on.
That was Brenda's hand that just went across the screen, right? Say hello, Brenda.
Hello, Brenda.
That cackle was Brenda too.
Ha ha ha.
We will. He'll come back on. He's got passwords. I mean, he can get. We share the program, so he knows how to
Gotcha.
work back office. There you go.
There we go.
We'll just pick up where we left off.
Did you edit us out?
Did I edit any of this out? No. That's what we
My-
can do in the
Question just
post-production.
rendered you speechless.
Why don't you repeat the question?
Oh, we're talking about wanting to hear people's stories. And since I've heard so many wonderful things about you, I wanted to know a bit about your story.
So, Ann, that's a great question. My story is just a story of someone who lived an average lifestyle and someone who is trying to move beyond that. You know, many times we run across people in this line of work that we do, and they have these tragic stories, or they had to overcome some incredible odds. And if you were to be a judge, Ann, and I was in your courtroom, you probably would have found me guilty of living an average life. Because I just did enough to get where I needed to do. I
Terrance,
did everything that, yes.
without knowing the backstory, I think you're wrong, because I think we're all broken. Now, some of us had to overcome a lot more than others, but none of us have lived an angelic, easy, smooth, no challenging, no speed bumps type of life. I think you just went over the speed bumps so smoothly that they didn't cause you any
Or
adverse stress.
he just turned them over into stepping stones.
Right.
Well, you know, I'm going to send both of you $5 in the mail because that's great. I really appreciate that. But honestly, I went to school. I got the grades I was supposed to get. I went and got the job that they said I was supposed to get. I got the raises that they said I was supposed to get. I got the house that they said I was supposed to get. I did all the things that they said I was supposed to do. But then I got a little older and I got a little grayer, and then I realized all the things that they said I was supposed to be doing was just enough to live the average lifestyle and to get the average things. And at one point, I decided that wasn't fulfilling for me. So I had to find myself doing more. And I had to find myself where many of us have found ourselves, whether it's young in life or old in life, we found ourselves, Big Bob, at that fork in the road.
Terrance,
Yes.
here's the challenge you overcame. Everybody told you you were average. Everybody set your expectations at average. No one gave you credit for the potential of being greater than average. That is the
Well,
opposite.
you know what? Let me stop you right there, because that's not true. My aunt, at the time, she was in law school, and she was telling me from when I was 6 years old that I was going to be the next Thurgood Marshall, who at that time was the first Black Supreme Court Justice of the United States.
I had to explain that to Ann.
Yeah. And then my great grandmother, who would watch me as a kid, she liked watching John Wayne movies, and she saw me acting out at home, and she used to say, "Baby, you gonna be the next John Wayne." She used to call me Duke as a nickname. So all along my life, I had this. Oh Lord Jesus! Can you guys still hear me?
I can
We can hear you. But you
Okay.
You're
You know, I've got so much greatness going on that the internet can't handle it.
Broke the internet.
Yes, absolutely. So to make the story, as long as you can still hear me, you don't need to see me. I don't look that good, Bob. You look better than I do.
Absolutely.
The greatness was bred in me, but I never lived up to it. And because I didn't live up to it, because that wasn't the greatness that I saw for myself. And that's why I say I was living an average lifestyle, because I was living somebody else's version of me instead of finding the version that fit me best, the best version of me. And when I found out the best version of me, that's when I started living a life of fulfillment. And that's when things started coming together. And I started connecting with that great woman that you guys gave applause to, Brenda Ringwood, and the Becoming the Better You family. Because I found out what we teach others is that you can't judge yourself by somebody else's opinion of you. Don't let someone else's opinion become your reality. Find your reality, and then you become the best version of you.
So was that a relatively scary thing to do, to let go of average because it was maybe your comfort zone, and then you let go of that and pursued this new path?
Absolutely. The average me would be what you see on the screen right now. You don't see my face.
Circle.
But by the way, I said this before, I'll say it again. That was your challenge. That was your handicap, that you were bred to be. You were told that you accepted being average, and nobody should accept average. Everybody has it within them to be exceptional. Now, they might not all be exceptional public speakers like you are. They might not be all exceptional leaders like you are, but we all have a gift, and we need to discover the gift and develop the skills that support the gift that we all are exceptional at.
So you're saying I'm exceptional?
Yeah, we just haven't figured out what yet.
Okay. At least you know that then.
Right.
Okay.
It's not running.
Oh, you guys are too much. Here, and you know what, we can agree to disagree, Big Bob, but I think for me, I was trying to live
Terrance,
up to
wait,
people's expectation. Yes,
This is our podcast. You can't disagree with us.
of course I can.
Edit that part out.
No,
Brenda, edit that part out. He's disagreeing with me.
you're just not used to that. We don't like it when someone doesn't agree with you.
I read your lips even if I didn't hear it.
Well,
But no,
I'm sure there was a fire truck there.
Okay. Many times we can't get to the point where we're supposed to be in our life, Big Bob. It's because we live up to other people's expectations instead of taking the time to figure out our own expectations. I can be the biggest fraud in the world, but it takes an extra amount of courage. It takes an extra amount of vulnerability. It takes an extra amount of being uncomfortable to really find out who I not want to be, but who I was created to be. Those are two different things. People see different things on TV and they say, that's who I want to be, but they don't take the time to dig deep to find out their purpose, why they were created to be here. And when you find out why you're created to be here, then you can speak passionately about it. Like you hear me speaking about it. I don't need to be on camera to tell you that I'm unstoppable, because I'm a passionate person about people not being stopped by the things that are happening in their life and being the best version of themselves and then becoming even better than that person the next day. And that's what I love about what we're doing here at BTBY.
I am so committed to how you just expressed yourself, because I can identify with, that's why I'm involved also. And it's, as you said, helping other people discover how to become a better version of themselves is what makes me feel better about become a better person myself.
Yes. And the beauty of that is it can happen at any age. It can happen at 8. It can happen at 80. It can happen at 6. It can happen at 66. And, you know, I'm sure you've seen it since you've been a part of our entourage, how we've been able to make a difference in the lives of the youth experience, just like we've been able to make the difference in the lives of the masterminds that we do virtually, just like we've been able to make a difference in our live conferences that we have in different parts of the country. It's amazing. Yeah, it's very inspirational. And the thing about it is, there's not a whole lot of things in life that are universal, but the ideal that each individual can become a better version of themselves. It transcends race, it transcends color, it transcends language, it transcends location, it transcends all of those things. No matter where you are, whether you are in Canada or Kansas, you can become the best version, a better version of yourself.
Yeah, because I still don't, back to your point, I still don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with my life.
But guess what?
You're what they call a late bloomer.
Very late.
Right.
Extremely late.
Right.
I'm going to be 100 in 40 years.
Someday
you too, Ann? I thought it was just me.
My grandma lived to 108, so that's my benchmark. So I figure I've got, you know, a good another 50 years, but I still don't know why the heck I'm even here or what I'm doing, because a lot of what you said resonates with me, because I always feel like I'm doing what others think I should be doing, and that has really created a people pleaser in me too.
Yeah. Well, now, the beauty of it is now is the time you can find out what that is you're supposed to do. And maybe because you're sitting next to that great person right there, it's going to help you find that thing. Yeah.
Who are you talking about?
So Terrance,
your imaginary friend.
Yeah, Harvey. So I find you very compelling, articulate, and charismatic. How often do you go one-on-one to sell the message of BTBY? Do you get rejected?
I got rejected 2 hours ago, Big Bob. 2 hours ago, I got rejected by that. I was talking to one of our BTBYers. She introduced me to her family member, and her family members, in essence, to make a long story short, said, "You guys do what you do. I'm not into that stuff." And I said, "Okay, that's fine. Well, tell me what you're into." And Bob, as she commenced for the next 10 minutes of telling me what she was into, she was the epitome of what BTBY is all about. She took me from her whole story of how she used to be to how she is right now. And here's what I said back to her. You know what? We're going to continue to do us. You continue to do you. But just imagine if the story you just told me, you told to somebody else who 3 years ago was you. Just think how much further along you could help them become the better version of themselves if you just took the time to tell them your story. Because here's the other thing that I said earlier. Your story may become to lead to somebody else's glory.
I love it. Most of the time, giving time is more valuable than writing a check.
Absolutely.
And I think too many people are apprehensive that they're going to be asked to write a check. They put up barriers, stay away, I don't want to talk to you, because they think you want a check. What we want is for them to become contagious with unstoppable.
Yes.
Contagious with, what do I have to do to become a better me? Is there something I can give to help somebody else become a better them?
Absolutely.
And if the whole universe, the whole world, or the majority of us took up this banner, thank you, harder. Wouldn't this be a much better universe?
Absolutely. You know, I think about that Clairol shampoo commercial from back in the day. I might be dating myself when I say that, but if you show Ann how to become a better version of herself, and Ann shows me how to become a better version of myself, and so on and so on and so on, then before you know it, we've got a whole world of people that are engaged in becoming a better version of themselves. And then they won't have time to engage in all those other things that have our world in the way it is right now.
Yep.
I love the message. Sign me up.
We already did.
All right.
You are signed, sealed, and delivered, Big Bob. And, you know, before you ask the next question, I want to personally thank you on your own show for catching the light and seeing the vision. You know, we will throw this out to millions of people, but only a few will actually get it for themselves. And even less will get it for what it can be for others. You've found how much of value it can be for you. And now you're all in on helping us show the value to other people. And I want to thank you for both of those things, for your own personal buy-in and for your willingness to help us grow.
Terrance, believe it or not, it's not my gift to you and Brenda. It's a gift I give myself.
Absolutely.
Helping BTBY is my gift to me. And that, I think, is the cornerstone of BTBY is
yes.
Give to others, just give to yourself by helping others, right? Better to give than receive.
Absolutely.
And everything happens, everything's positive.
It's kind of like that
Absolutely.
line, one person gives, two people receive.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
One person gives, two people receive.
Absolutely.
What do you do for recreation?
You know, I'm down here in South Florida, surrounded by water. I love just going to the beach and taking all the stress of my day off of me and letting it float out into the ocean. I also love to dance. I think you saw me at the last conference, just cutting the rug. I love to do that. I love to do anything that just keeps me alive. You know, I don't need drugs. I don't need alcohol. I don't need nicotine. I'm high on life, and that's what I do.
It's awesome.
I understand you're going to be out of town pretty soon.
I'm out of town now. What do you mean?
Well, where are you now?
I'm in South Florida. Yeah.
Okay. Where do you
Where's
travel
home
much?
base?
I do.
Okay.
My home base is Florida. I was just recently up there with you guys earlier this year. But if you're talking about what's coming up in May,
yes,
possibly in the Windy City, yes. So what we're looking to do, we've got this great book called Becoming the Better You, The World is Ready. And what we're essentially trying to do is get it out to the world. You know, we did our launch late last year in Las Vegas. We did a virtual launch, and now we're going across the country to key areas where we have BTBY family, and we're launching the book in those areas. And so I'm proud to say that May 25th, we're going to be in the Windy City, Chicago, Illinois, for another BTBY launch. So you just got to stick and stay. Go on over to comechangeyourlife.com for updated details on the secret location where we're going to be doing the book launch.
You were originally from Chicago, aren't you?
Originally, born and raised, South Side.
Are you a Cub fan or a Sox fan?
You know, and that's a very interesting question. I get that a lot. I was raised on the South Side where the White Sox play, but I'm a born and bred North Sider where the Cubs play. So I'm a Chicago. I'm Cubby Blue through and through.
Bears and Bulls.
Unfortunately, yeah, it comes with the territory.
Well, I think it's going to be interesting the next couple of weeks for being a Bear fan. See what they do.
Yeah,
with all the draft picks and the quarterback situation. Let's see, hockey also.
No, I you know, it's something about hockey that I just didn't resonate with me. So yeah, I'm not a hockey fan. I was never athletic enough to play soccer, so not into soccer. But baseball, as Sammy Sosa used to say, was very, very good to me. So right. That's the number one sport.
You're a second baseman.
I'm more of a shortstop.
Yeah. My guess would have been second base, but that's almost the same thing.
Yeah.
Where did you go to school?
So I started out in public school up till the second grade, and then I went to Catholic school the rest of my time. So it was a great school that no longer exists in Chicago physically, but the tradition and the aura of the school continues on now. Mendel Catholic High School. We're celebrating our 40th anniversary that same weekend that we're going to be in Chicago. So I get to do two purposes for being in Chicago.
All right.
Do you have family?
Yeah, my family still lives in Chicago.
So we have made a point to avoid politics, sex, and religion on our show. But if I ever was to write another book, that would be the title of it.
I'm not ghostwriting it.
No, of course not. No, sure. So, what is the problem in Chicago politically? I mean, vote often. What is it? Vote and vote often.
So you said you avoid sex and politics on your show. Then you asked the political question. So I'm going to answer it this way: that ideology that you just said is not a Chicago thing. I see that right here in South Florida. I saw that bits of it when I watched the news when I was in your town. When I travel internationally, I'll turn on the news. I may not understand everything they're saying, but I can see from the pictures that there's some politics that's happening. And it's like I'm going to take us back to this whole point. They are not trying to be a better version of themselves. They're trying to be a better version of something else.
Right.
They're both sides. Both sides.
And that's why I tell people, do not depend on the person that you elected to make a difference in your life. You make a difference in your own life, and then the person you elected will make a difference by default.
Right.
All right.
We all need each other. And no one's saying, give me a handout. I am saying that if you give me a hand, then I'm going to become the best version of myself, which by default will help you become the best version of yourself.
It takes a village. I agree.
Yeah.
And especially, and I don't think that it's just BTBY, but almost everybody I've ever met, with the exception of you, of course, was probably at one time broken. And maybe it's easier to come to the realization that you're broken and how to repair yourself, how to fix it, if you have a helping hand.
Exactly.
Instead of being always relying on doing it yourself.
Yes.
And I know I've had a helping hand.
You've helped me a lot.
I've given helping hands, but I want to do more of that, because helping, I don't want to do anything for anybody. I want to help empower them so they can do it for themselves.
Like give a man.
Right.
Give a man a fish, he'll eat for a day. If you teach him to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime.
Right.
That is so very true. And I get a lot of pushback, especially from people that are up in your stratosphere, Big Bob. I hate that phrase, self-made this, self-made that, because if you look from the moment of conception, there was somebody helping you get to where you are right now.
Right.
And every step along the way, there was somebody that helped you, either through a tragedy or through a teaching or through an experience to help you get to where you are right now. So there is nothing that is self-made, but people throw that turnaround like it's.
I'm going to take that one step further. if I look back on all my blessings, there is a shadow of somebody else in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
I may or may not be able to identify them. It may not have been divine, but there's always been a shadow helping me,
Yes.
clearing the path, helping me make a better decision, taking the pain out of a problem. I have not done that much for myself, except maybe walk forward. But there's probably been a lot of people who have opened doors for me, and all I had to do was walk through.
Yeah. And
And-
someone had to show you how to walk before you could walk through.
And then most of the time, somebody opened the door for me and say,
Mhm.
here's the direction you need to go. And I might not have recognized it at the time, but in reflection, I'm saying there was always somebody else, guidance, help, encouragement, pushing me forward. And there was probably somebody slowing me down for making bigger mistakes.
Absolutely.
So you're right. Nobody does it on their own. There is the village that helps all of us grow.
Yes. And there's those people that help you, and then there's those people who help you while they're trying to hurt you.
And that the whole purpose of BTBY is to gather together as many people who will help you in one room as possible, to help you from, some of them are going to help you, prevent you from making mistakes, and some are going to open up doors and push you through. But for the most part, you can't be helped unless you want to be helped.
Yes.
And you got to be unstoppable. You have to have your own tenacity. You have to have your own push, because to get out of the mire, the mug and the mire that we've all been in, the speed bumps that we have to go over, we need encouragement. But more important than encouragement, we need our own internal motor to push us through.
Absolutely. You know, I know we're short on time, but there's a reason why we said becoming the better you as opposed to become the better you. We said becoming because it's something that you're always in the process of doing. Right. Whenever you think you have become, that's when you start living on your laurels. Whenever you think you've become, that's when you become complacent. Whenever you think you've gotten to that point, then you recognize, or you think that there's nowhere else to go. So we were very intentional about saying becoming, because each and every day you are in the action of becoming a better version of you.
Now I'm going to stop there because I do have to go and become a better version of myself at another job. So if you two want to continue this, that'd be obvious.
Bye, Ed.
Peace out.
And it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Hey,
she's out of the picture now.
I'm trying to become a better me.
Now we can really.
I apologize in advance for leaving you alone with him.
You're unstoppable, Ann.
See you later.
We don't want her to stop. We want her to keep going.
Oh.
Keep going. Keep going. Be unstoppable.
Yes, she's going to blaze a trail for us to follow.
How did you find Brenda?
Brenda actually found me. We were at the same conference. We both are good friends with Dr. Ruben West. Dr. Ruben West is my speaker coach, and we were at a speaker boot camp in 2019, 2017, one of those years. And just by chance, say that again.
One of the teens.
One of the teens, yes. And
17, 18, 19, one of the teens.
It was a teen. And I don't believe, Big Bob, that anything happens by coincidence. I don't believe what we're doing right now, happened by coincidence. There's a master playwright somewhere up there putting together these great screenplays, and we're all playing bit parts in it. And at that moment in time, we were put together for a time as this. We didn't talk about that while we were at the boot camp. It wasn't, I don't even think it was a full vision in Brenda's eyes there, but we connected. And when the vision came together, she reached out to me and she said there was something in me that made her want me to be a part of this greater thing. And to this day, I'm still humbled by the thought of her seeing as much in me to be a part of this and to go along this journey with her towards helping myself, herself, you, and everybody else we come in contact become a better version of themselves.
100% fully relate. I had the exact same experience. I was seduced by her commitment and by her transparency and her vision. And I wanted to be part of it.
Okay, so now in this entire conversation, you said we weren't going to talk about politics, sex, and the third thing. You've talked about politics, and now you've been seduced. I'm just saying.
Terrance, how tall are you?
You know how tall I am. Just as tall as you in
Right.
spirit.
In spirit. Okay. I didn't know they piled it that high. Anyway. I had the privilege, honor of having Dr. Ruben West on my podcast. Of course,
Yes.
You've never watched any of my podcasts, so you wouldn't know about it. Maybe now you'll go back and review it. He is singularly one of the most spectacular individuals I've ever met in my life.
Yes, I wholeheartedly agree.
There is an aura, a visible aura around him that is contagious, is loving and giving. And if he's going to support BTBY, if he's going to support you, you're unstoppable, and Brenda and her missions, why the freaking hell wouldn't anybody else?
Yes.
It is such a meaningful addition to my life at my age that I'm inspired to give and be more.
And that is so true. I 100% agree with everything you said about Dr. West. He gave me my first opportunity as a professional MC, and it all came from just putting it out there.
Oh, by the way, I think all right. So when do we get to see each other next?
Well, hopefully you'll join us in Chicago for our event in Chicago. It's going to be at a secret location, again, in Chicago. You have to go to www.comechangeyourlife.com for more details. We want to see everybody's face in the place. We're hoping to have a majority of our authors from the book, Becoming the Better You, The World is Ready. But we're also going to have some local authors there too, Big Bob, talking about their books, because we don't believe in competing. We believe that if we know you and you've got a book and you've got a purpose, then you're welcome to be there on that stage as well. We don't compete, we collaborate, and we help everybody become the best version of themselves.
Two questions. When is it? And what kind of food are you going to have?
May 25th is the target date. May 25th, 2024.
Oh, I'm busy that day. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I can't come up that day. But what kind of food are you going to have anyways?
Well, it's going to be food that you will wish you would have been there for.
Boy, you are a hell of a salesman. What do you do to between 9 and 5?
So rarely I'm not doing The same thing every day between 9 and 5. In my other life, I am a area manager for a nonprofit here in South Florida that deals with supportive housing for low income and homeless families. So again, that's another way that I give back, being able to help people go from homelessness to self-sufficiency.
You're getting a lot busier in the last year or so, haven't you?
And it's a beautiful thing. You know, COVID helped us find who we are. You know, I tell everybody you had to pause and then you had to pivot in order to survive. Some people paused, some people didn't pivot, and they're not here anymore. But those people who learned how to pause and pivot, they continue to thrive instead of survive, and they're becoming the best versions of themselves as a result of it.
What about the extra people coming in?
The extra people coming in get to the benefit of the knowledge that we gained from going through that. And hopefully, because we went through that, we're a little bit more compassionate. We're a little bit more giving.
Efficient.
We're efficient, yes. And we're resilient, which is very important. Because if you know, they used to say, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. So now, if you made it through COVID, you can make it through anything.
All right. I'm not going to be in Chicago. Sorry about that. I know I'm going to see you in September at at your annual convention.
Yes.
For those who have not been, I invite you to come because you will have probably 15 extraordinary speakers and probably only 2 or 3 duds.
Yeah, and we're gonna put more focus on the ING in becoming. Our goal is to really have more breakouts so that people aren't just listening to people talk, they're actually engaging in becoming the best version of themselves for the time.
I love that idea. I love that idea. Participation.
Yes. The life is not a spectator sport. You've got to get in it. If you want to BTBY, you got to work on BTBY. And so that's what we're going to do. We're going to put in the work.
I shared this quote with Dr. West. He wrote it down. I don't know if he's using it, but I'm going to share it with you too. Is spectators don't have a win-loss record.
And they also don't have a show up record either.
No, you can show up and watch somebody else participate, but you don't get to share in the win-loss.
Yeah,
if you're watching, you're a spectator. To be a participant, you got to get out of the stands, pick up a bat, and take a swing.
Yep. And if you get out and you take a swing, you may miss, but if you never get out, you always will.
Absolutely. Spectators don't have a win-loss record.
I love it. So I'm putting it into my mental data bank, and so you might see it on the video this week.
Beautiful. Is there something you would like to add before we say our farewells? What, you want to say something, Brenda?
You go ahead.
Wait, Brenda, you want to sit in on this a little bit? Brenda thinks she has something important to say.
Wow.
For those of you who have never seen Brenda on the Big Bob podcast,
woo! Hey, Brenda.
Tell her you like the hat.
I like the entire outfit.
Yeah.
It just makes a pretty lady prettier.
Flattery will get you everywhere.
I thought so. So you asked me if I had what Brenda, you wanted to share something?
No, he told me I had to, so the boss spoke.
Oh, okay. Well, when Bob speaks.
But you guys are dead on about becoming the better you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's got the E.F. Hutton thing going on. When Big Bob speaks.
Why does it have to be dead?
What? What's dead?
Why do I have to be dead?
Oh.
Dead on? Why can't it be a
right on? Right on, Big Bob.
Why can't it be a live wire? Why do I have to be dead on?
He's a live wire. Just make
Whenever Bob's in the room, he creates a spark. How about that?
There we go.
Oh, geez, I love the way you turn a phrase.
I'm seeing him.
Right.
And you were asking me a question. If there's one last thing I want to say, this is what I always say at the end of any type of speech. You know, I want people to really focus on what you're able to do and not those things that are stopping you. We live in a world where the 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock news is filled with things of people being stopped. Stopped by bullets, stopped by inflation, stopped by unemployment, stopped by all these things. Just imagine if you changed your mind and started focusing on those things that you were able to do. Today, I was able to get up. Today, I was able to breathe God's air. Today, I was able to brush my teeth. Today, I was able to walk one step farther than I did before. If you focus on those things you're able to do instead of those things that are stopping you, then ladies and gentlemen, if anyone listening to Big Bob in this podcast that is global,
19 people.
19 global people. They're in they're in Canada, Cuba, Shangri-La, Taiwan, Hawaii. So that makes me global. Wherever you are in the world
today,
today,
get us a bigger audience, Terrance.
You know what? I will do that. You'll have 20 people by tomorrow.
There we go.
Well, how many people watch your podcast?
You know what? In all transparency, I haven't been doing it as consistently as I wanted to because we've been doing other things with BTBY, like Fell Into Fabulous, which we're doing every Tuesday night. Watch us on E360 TV, and we're coming out with the BTBY TV show. Keep looking for that. So I put my stuff to the side because I'm fully involved in doing full service for becoming the better you. And Big Bob.
And thank you. And thank you for giving. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you for your inspiration, your commitment, your example. You are a shining light in this organization that should be attracting millions of people. You are one of the anchors that hold us in place. Thank you very much for your service.
And his unstoppable coaching has really helped me.
Right. And your unstoppable coaching that pushes Brenda forward.
Well, thank you. Let me hype myself for a little bit. Hey, if you're looking for coaching just like Brenda's getting, go on over to www.unstoppablecoaching.com, unstoppablecoaching.com, where we help you focus more on what you're able to do and less on what's stopping you. And wherever you are watching this show in the world today, you know what I say. Don't just make it a great day. Keep on watching the Big Bob podcast, and you can't help but to make it an unstoppable day. Thank you, Big Bob.
Thank you, sir. God bless.